object, okay, with no cycle, with no cycle property, then that then the set of sequence numbers, sequence numbers are not repeated, okay na? So that means this is what we called. So if I want to show that some example in theoretically, if you go, okay, so same thing I want to give it and okay, right. So now this is what it was happening. Okay, right. So start with min, increment, max. And now what happened? Here I'm not using cycle property. I'm not using cycle property means by default it is what it was. Come on, guys. By default, what it was. Yes, by default it is called as what now? No cycle, because I'm not using cycle property. If I'm not using cycle property means by default it will take a no cycle. So what I'm saying here, once if I send up to here the max value 3, then I'm not using any cycle facility. Then what it was happening here as an output, starting year 1 and increment year 2 and increment 3. That's it. So again, the sequence numbers will not okay repeated. Understand now? Okay, right. So this is what it was. And the set of sequence numbers, okay, what I'm saying, the set of sequence numbers are not repeated. Okay, na? The set of sequence numbers are not repeated here. So whatever the maximum value was given by programmer, how much he was given there, so up to it will be reaching to that maximum value, then automatically your sequence will be stopped. Okay, that is what it was happening here. Okay, right. And now what about cycle, sir? If I'm creating my sequence with a cycle, what it was happening? Okay, now we can see. If we are created, okay, create a sequence object with a cycle property now. With the cycle property when we created, then the set of sequence numbers are repeated here again and again. Okay, it was repeated again and again. Okay, na? So that means here the same example, if I want to take it now, if the same example, if I want to take it now, okay, and I was applied here, the facility was what now? Cycle. When I was applied facility was cycle, what it was happening, guys? Once it was reaching to the maximum value 3, then again the sequence will be starting with the 1 only. That means 1, again 2, again 3. Again reaching to maximum value, again your sequence starts with a 1, 2, 3. So like this, it will be continuous process. It doesn't going to be stop it here. It's a continuous process it will be. And the set of sequence number, again and again, it was repeated once it was reaching to maximum value. Okay, now that is what a cycle property advantage. Now, yes. Now the next one is called as what now? No cache. No cache. What is no cache here? What is no cache here? So cache is nothing but, okay, first of all, it is a default property. It is a default property. And here, what is the mean by cache? Cache is a temporary memory. Cache is a temporary memory. Okay, we called here. So now, when I was created my sequence object with no cache, okay, property, then what it was happening, guys, here, set of sequence numbers, whatever it was generated, that all will be directly saved under database memory. Directly save into database memory. So that what it was happening, whenever user want to access some data based on sequence numbers from the database memory, then every user request will go to database now. Every user request will go to database for each and every required data purpose. So this is what it was happen. Your database performance will go to degraded and automatically, sorry, your performance will be degraded. And of course, when it was degraded, your database performance means when the database will get a burden. Okay. So what it mean exactly, observe carefully. Suppose I'm going to taking one application now. Carefully observe. This is my application now. I'm creating. Okay. Now you can see. Assume this. This is one application. And this is my database now. Okay. Right. Suppose here I'm going to create my sequence. Okay. Suppose create sequence S1. Start with value. Okay. 1. Min value 1. Max increment value. Okay. 1. And max value. Okay. 3. Okay. I'm not using any cache. Okay. I'm not using. So by default, it is the no cache. After created the sequence object, then user, okay, inserting some data. Suppose I'm inserting some data. Insert some data here. Then what happened? Sequence number 1 generated because starting value. Inserted another record now. Now sequence number 2 will generate it. Inserting another number. Sequence number 3 generated. So it was reaching to maximum value. So that means where is your sequence numbers was saved, guys? Come on. Where is your sequence numbers are saved? Yes, directly in database memory. So when it was saving into database memory directly, okay, then later if I need to access, I'm accessing now. For accessing purpose, we are writing one query, select a star from so-and-so sequence number is equals to 2 by using some where class condition, etc. So this request will go to database now and searching your data and finding your data as per condition and the data sending to client application. Okay. Same as next time, again, I'm writing again one more query request. So select a star from where sequence number is equals to 1. Again, this request is also going to database. Again, searching and finding your data, sending to client application. Suppose, are you writing one more select statement? Okay, select a star from table where sequence number is equals to 3. Again, this request is also going to database and searching and taking your information. Okay, now, and that information is sent back to your client application. So that means here what it was happening, sir, it means that it was going to be every user request, whatever the user is going to be sending, okay, for accessing data purpose, every user request will go to database. So every request will go to database means automatically database burden will be increases here. So whenever database burden will be increases, automatically the performance of database will be degraded. Got it my point now? Understand now? Now this is a problem of when I'm creating my cache, when I'm creating object sequence object without a cache memory. So without cache memory, it will be happen like this. Okay. So that is the point we are going to discussing now. What is the point here? So when we created a sequence object, with no cache, then the set of sequence numbers are saved in database memory directly. Okay, now directly, so that each and every request, user request. One thing is, so that when we access data from database based on a sequence number, then each and every request, the user request, every request will go to database and return to client application, or return to client application. Okay, will go to database and return to client application. It seems time it seems the burden on database is increased and reduce the performance of a database. Okay, now this is the problem. What it was happen without cache. Okay, now this point is clear, all of you. Come on. This point is clear, all of you. Say yes or no, guys. Come on. Okay, right. So this is what it was happen when we created your sequence object with no cache property. Okay, don't worry, this point, whatever theoretical explained, practically also I'm showing. Okay, but theoretically you can understand whatever just now I explained here. Okay, now right. So now this is the problem of no cache. Then I will go for cache. So suppose same thing, the same sequence object, if I'm creating with cache memory, what it was happening, sir, you can see now. First I will explain to you. So now here, okay, this is our some application. Okay, so now in this we are using some sequence. So create a sequence S1, starting value 1, minimum value 1, increment by 1, max value 1, and I'm using here cache. Some size I was given, cache file size is 2 KB I was given. The minimum size is 2 KB. Okay, right. So now I was given this. Then after what it was happened, carefully observe. This is your Oracle server. And in this, you have your database now. And whatever the cache was there, the cache memory is created in the server side location. This is called a cache. This is called a database now. Okay, after sequence object is created, then data insert now. When you inserting the data, your sequence number is generated 1. Your sequence number generated 1, and that will be saved under database. Okay. But database server, what it will do, that every copy of that sequence number will be sending to cache memory. So every copy of sequence, it will be saved under cache memory also. Okay, now next record I'm inserting now. Again, second generated. Okay, now and second copy also keeping into cache memory, second sequence number. Suppose I'm giving here to insert third record. Third record is also saved, and the copy of 3 will save into sequence, into cache memory. So it will be having like this. That means the set of sequence numbers copy will be keep under cache memory. Then after, what is the advantage of the programmer here? Suppose whenever you want to send a request, select a star from so-and-so table where sequence number is equals to 2. So this request will go to server. Server will not go to database. Server will not go to database. Server will go to where? Cache. It will go to cache memory and searching here and finding your data, sending to client application. Second time I'm sending one more request here. Select a star from where serial number is equals to 3. This request will go to server. Server will come to cache memory. Instead of database memory, it will go to cache memory. And searching, finding the data, send back to client application. So that means here what it was happening, user request, whatever it was there, these user requests will go to server. Server directly go to cache interaction. But there is no interaction with the database here. You are interacting with the cache memory. So that means what happened? The number of user requests will not go to database. That's why database burden will be reduces or decreases, and performance of application will be increased. Performance of application will be increased. Understand now? So now that is a point here, and that is the advantage of your cache. So the same point here, little bit modifications. So when we created sequence object with a cache property, then the set of sequence numbers are saved in database memory. Okay, and also the copy of numbers, or the copy of sequence numbers, are and also are saved in cache memory. Saved in a cache memory. So and also the copy of sequence numbers are saved in cache memory. Got it my point now? Then what it was happened, so that when user or when we access data from database based on sequence numbers, then each and every request will go to where? It will go to cache memory. Will go to cache memory instead of database, and return values to client application. Okay, what it was happen? Understand now? So your each and every user request will go to cache memory instead of database, and return values to client application. It seems what happened, the burden on database is not increases, because your request will not go to database. That's why it is called as what now? Decreased. And improve the performance of your database. Okay, improve the performance of your database. Okay, now the advantage, understand the cache. So this is cache advantage. Okay, and this cache here, n is nothing but what now? Cache size. Here n is nothing but the size of cache. the size of cache file. Okay, and minimum, okay, minimum 2 KB. It's a starting file capacity 2 KB, and maximum unlimited. Maximum is depending on your hard disk. Okay, now, but minimum 2 KB starting file size. If you give it a 1 KB, it's not allowed. It was showing error. Okay, now these are the properties, guys, which was going to be having along with my sequence object. Okay, and let me see practically. I will show you one by one. Okay, now come back to your. Okay, this is the property, but one thing is there here. What is the note point? Whenever you want to work with sequence object, okay, so when we work on sequence or sequences, okay, we should follow the following pseudo columns. The following pseudo columns are, yeah, 2 columns are there. One is we called as a next val is one pseudo column, and this column, what it was say means it is used to generating sequence numbers, okay, that is called a sequence numbers next by next. And second one is what we have a second pseudo column that's called a curval. Curval means, okay, to show the current sequence number. The current sequence number. Okay, now these are the 2 things we have it here. So, for example, what is the mean by this, sir? What is the mean by this, sir? Means that, for example, your sequence are there 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 was there. Okay. Now, if I'm asking what is the next value in this, if I'm asking, can you tell me what is the next value, guys? Come on. Next value is called a 6. Okay. What is curval? Curval means what? No, current value. Current value means what? No, 5. Got it my point now? Next value 6, current value 5. Okay. Right. Suppose if I'm giving 6 and 7, if I'm giving. Same question I'm asking here. What is your next value? Now, what is the next value now? Eight. What is my current value? Seven. Okay, now? Right. So this is the next and curve values here. Okay. Now see, let me go some examples. Practically, we will see. So as usual, go to your database now. Okay. And now we can see this in this example. Okay, so I'm going to connect with MyDB 11 AM. MyDB 11 AM. Okay, set your normal properties here, the environment properties. Okay, now. So now we can see. So now I'm creating sequence, carefully observe. Create sequence name SQ1. Okay. And I started here, start with the, for example, start with the 1 and min value 1, increment by 1, max value 3 I was given. So in this example, I'm not using any cycle and any cache I'm not using. Understand my point now? So I'm not using any cycle and any cache. Okay, if I'm not using means by default it is what, guys? Come on. By default, no cycle and no cache. By default, no cycle and no cache. Understand now? So now see, I'm going to execute what it was happening to me. Insufficient privileges. See, I already said to you, for every new object when you created in the database, compulsory we should need a permissions. Understand now? So who will give permission to this? Come on. System. Okay, and now permission I'm taking now. Grant, create, sequence to MyDB 11 AM user. Grant succeeded. Come back here and connect with your database MyDB 11 AM. Okay, connected. And after the same program I'm writing here, create sequence, start with value, min value, increment by 1, max value. My sequence successfully created. After create a sequence, what I want to do, so create table, the test number 33, one table I'm creating, and a serial number, integer, and name I was given, varchar to offer some table here. And while I'm inserting data into this table, what I want to do here, whatever the sequence object is created, this facility, I want to apply one of my column is serial number column. Okay, now that's why the definition I was given. What is the definition of sequence? It is a database object which is used, okay, to generate sequence numbers on particular column automatically. Did you find out the statement now? Okay, right. So here, whatever the sequence I was created, my object here, whatever the object I created, this object facility, that means sequence facility, I'm applying on serial number column while inserting time. Okay, na? When it was while inserting time. So insert into table name and sending values of, in place of serial number, I want to give SQ1 is a sequencer name dot. What I want to do, next by next, my sequence numbers will be generated. So that's why I'm using which pseudo column? Next val pseudo column. Okay, comma. Here I'm passing % of a name. Okay, then what it was happened here, user no need to enter value for serial number column. User no need to enter for values serial number column because of reason in this or in place of serial number column, I was given sequence facility. Careful observe. So we was given what now? Sequence facility. That's why user is not necessary to insert value to serial number column. And even though your database is also not asking value for serial number column. It was asking only value for name column only. Let me see. Let me see dynamically asking or not. Yes. Now tell me, guys, here. Tell me, serial number column data is asking to you? Asking to you? No. The serial number column data is not asking. It was asking what now? Enter value for name. Okay, so name I want to give it. Okay, some name I'm passing A. Allowed. So one row is created, but it doesn't ask me serial number value. But automatically serial number is already starting generated. With which number generated? 1. Okay. The next I'm going to insert another record B. Next I'm inserting another record C. Now tell me A, B, C means how many sequence numbers are generated? 3 sequence number. That means what is my maximum value? 3. So that means now tell me, are you reached your maximum value? Yes or no? Come on. Yes, we reached our maximum value. So that's why what it was happening, sir, means that now we can see to execute again and send another name D. What happened? You can see it was showing error. It was showing error, and error is also very clear. Sequence SQ1 dot next value exceeds max value, and that cannot be instantiated. So it's very clear, exceeds the max value. That's why it is not allowed. And now we can see your final table test number 33 and see 2, 3 only generate. And later you cannot insert your record. The fourth record, fourth row data, you can't insert now. Because of reason, your max value up to 3 only was given. Okay now? So this is one example, guys. Okay. So it was going to take now. And if you send B, it's showing this error, you will be get it. Okay, right. So now what I want to do, sir, if I want to change, I want my sequence maximum. Okay, is it possible, sir? Can I? That is called as a altering a sequence. If you want to do altering means changes. Alter table name. Okay, now I'm going to use alter. Sorry, sequence. I want to change alter sequence, and I want to give it my sequence name. Okay, which sequence name? Later you can give it a property name and here n. So which property you want to change, that you can. Suppose here, tell me in this case, what is your maximum value I was given initially at the time of sequence creation, guys? Come on. Yes. So here I was given the maximum value 3. And up to 3 only I can insert, but fourth record is not inserted. So then what I want to do? Altering. Alter sequence. Sequence name SQ1. Okay. Which parameter? That means max value parameter. I was given 5. So that means max value I increases 5. Then what happened? You can see that now again if you try to insert this, now what happened? It is asking to me. Now I can insert D. Now tell me, can I allow this? Yes, definitely it was. Next, can I allow this E? Yes. Now, can I allow this F? No. Why, sir? Because max is 5. So it was showing again error. So finally, if you want to come back here, test number 33 and see 4 and 5 also adding here. So whenever you want to do any altering, okay, then you can use this alter statement and later you can follow. It will be allowed for you. Understand now? So now you can follow it this. Okay, right. So this is one example. In this example, I'm not using any, okay, cycle or any caching. I'm not using here, okay? And this is the way, one example. Another example you can see. What is my next example? Same example. Here, let me do this. So I'm passing here. Sequence number 2. Start with min, increment, okay, and 3. Later, I was given here cycle. I'm giving here cycle. And next I'm giving, okay, cache, minimum size is 2. So here cache and the cycle, the two properties I used in this, what it was happen, you can see. So now I'm executing sequences created. And the same pattern, I need a table. Now create your table now. So one of my table I'm creating here. Same as the table number 34. Okay. Now come back and see. And after that, you need to insert now. So insert into 34. Sending values of sequence number 2 dot next val. 2 dot next val, comma, ampersand of okay, name. So careful observe. Cycle advantage is what? And here I was taken my maximum value 3. Okay now? Now I entered A allowed, B allowed, C allowed. Now tell me, are you reached your maximum value 3? Come on, guys. Okay, right. If I enter next attempt, X if I enter, now this value is allowed or not? Yes, it is also allowed. Next, Y value allowed. Next, Z value is allowed. Next, P, Q, R. So that means there is no stoppage here. It was continuously inserted here. And finally, you can see how your table test number 34 was there. You can see. So the set of sequence numbers are repeated. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Repeated, huh? Yes or no? Come on. Yes. So this is sequence advantage. Okay, na? Right. This is one more example here. But in these two examples, can you see I'm using my start with value, minimum value, both are same I'm using. Both are same I'm using. Okay, but both, if I'm giving different, what it was happen, you can see. Okay, now? Now this is and so on. Another example, what now? To my next example. Example number 3. Sequence number 3. Start with 1, or rather start with, I'm giving 3. Min value 1, increment 1, max value 5 I'm giving. So if I was given a start with the min value, both are different. Okay, na? Different or not? Definitely. It was different. So then what it was happening when I'm taking this and your table number 35, inserting values 35, sequence number 3. What it was happen, you can see. If I given this and later I want to create my table also, the 35 table number, and now you need to insert test number 35, sending values sq3 dot next val, comma ampersandage of name. So now it was C. I enter some name here. Okay, A, and now B, C, next D, E, F. So like you can insert any number of characters. Okay, na? Right. So now can you come out and see what it was happening in the result? 30 number 5. So first your sequence starts with 3, 4, 5. That means once starting only start with value printed 3, 4, 5. Once it reaches to maximum value, then again your next sequence number starts with the minimum value. Understand now? My first cycle starts with 3, 4, 5, and your cycle is end. Again, new cycle started from where? 1. 1 means what? Minimum value or maximum value? It is a minimum value. Then again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again next cycle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next cycle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that means here. So start with property only, starting level only it will take. Once it reaches to maximum value, then again it will started from minimum value, it will be started. So that is the difference of your min and start with value, min value differences. Got it my point now? Yes. So these are the what now guys here? Sequences we called. These are the sequences. You can create your sequence object and apply on particular table column. And these sequences, suppose you want to see in your database how many sequences I created, then we have a data dictionary. So sequences. Now, in this, I'm going to taking here. My first one is called as what? Sequence name from user underscore sequences. If you see, how many sequences I created here? 3 sequences here. SQ1, 2, and 3. If you want to drop your sequence, what it was happening, you can see. Sequence SQ1 if I drop. So sequence successfully dropping here. But the table you can see what it was happened. The test number, first table, test number 33. Now we can see your data will not lose here. Your data will not lose. Your data is there. Just a sequence facility is removed from your serial number column. Okay, na? That's it. But data as usual, it was data will never delete it. Okay. right? This is one of the uh, concept in our SQL, and a small concept here also. Okay, this is also okay. Na? These are the sequences as per your customization you can prepare and apply on your table columns. Then automatically your sequence numbers are generated without user interaction. Okay, na? Right, guys. So this complete notes also I'm going to sending to you. And next, two more small topics are there, and they will be finished it two more concepts. Then we are enter into normalizations concepts, and after that PLSQL. Okay, right.